Hey, it's the Bet Las Vegas and of course Audacy Sports. And this week in particular, we are talking a lot of wrestling, and rightfully so, because this weekend we are going to be invaded by Impact Wrestling. No Surrender going down this Friday. That is February 24th at Sam's Town Live. Plus, we got Saturday and Sunday for Fallout Night 1 and Night 2. So a whole weekend of Impact Wrestling. And we always love getting the chance to talk to some talent from Impact. So without further ado, I bring in Jay Vidal. Jay, how are you doing, man?
I am doing fantastic, Adrian. Thank you so much for having me. I am super excited for this weekend. No surrender and no surrender fallout over here in lovely Las Vegas, Nevada.
Look, I love the energy. You're boosting me up because I'm battling the sniffles over here. But I do have to ask you as we start, because I read the information and doing my research. But I just want to confirm with you, are you Puerto Riqueño?
Yes, I am Puerto Riqueño, born in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Okay, we need to do something right now because I've been in radio for about 8 or 9 years, did music, now I'm doing sports, talking to actors and just a lot of people I've been fortunate enough to talk to. But I believe, for the record, this is the first time that I'm getting to interview a Puerto Riqueño. So hold on. Boricua, viva la mi gente! There we go.
Boricua, dímelo. Yes, yes. I gotta represent my Puerto Rican people.
So we're gonna start right here. Daddy Yankee or Bad Bunny? Where are you on? What side?
Man, Daddy Yankee's amazing, but Bad Bunny is the Beyonce of the
Is
Puerto Ricans in this generation. So Bad Bunny 1,000%.
I need to know for you, because for me it is chuletas, arroz blanco, y some tostones. Pero para tú, what's your go-to meal?
Mofongo.
Okay, so plain and simple. And then here's the other thing, and I'm ashamed to say this. So I think the last time I was in Puerto Rico was like 7 years ago, and it was only for 24 hours. It was for Thanksgiving to see my family. Before then, it was when I was little because of a funeral. So I haven't been home much to my homeland. Family's wanting me to go this summer. And of course, my grandma lives in San Juan. But where do I need to go to outside of San Juan and like the touristy places? What are your suggestions?
You need to go to El Yunque, which is a rainforest in Puerto Rico, and they say that it has the cleanest water in all Puerto Rico once you go through it and get all the way to the waterfall in El Yunque. It is about a 20, 15, 20, maybe 30-minute walk, depending on how slow you're walking.
That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem.
It's a small little hike, but honestly, like once you get to the water, they say it is the cleanest water in all of Puerto Rico. It is free. The water is freezing. Like, and no matter how hot it is in Puerto Rico, that water is gonna be freezing. And honestly, when you get in it, you're only getting in it for like 30 seconds before your body can't handle too much of it. But it's
Damn.
just the being able to say that you did it, that you made it down there. It's really awesome. I highly suggest that.
And well, this is like a proper and perfect transition. And thank you for the suggestion. Because for me, for people watching, for people listening, if you could just quickly kind of briefly give us your story, which has led you to Impact. I know Las Vegas has played a big part. I know Puerto Rico probably played a big part in you falling in love with professional wrestling. So, kind of, what's your story to this point?
So I actually started I was born in Puerto Rico but raised most of my life in South Florida. And that's where I started my training over there with Gangrel down in Miami. And I wrestled over there in the indies for about 2 to 3 years. And in 2019, I wanted to further my training and just take a chance on myself. So I hopped on a plane, packed up all my stuff, and moved to Vegas by myself. Like I just kind of took a big chance and bet on myself.
You and me both. I love this.
And yeah, I met some amazing friends down the line who I just consider to be my family now. And you skip forward 2 years, 3 years, I should say, of me just hustling and grinding and building up my resume, building up my name, and I get lucky enough, you know, for preparation to meet opportunity, and Impact offers me a contract, and here we are.
No, it's a beautiful thing, and like we talked for a little bit before this interview, but the thing I can appreciate about saying, "Hey, I'm getting my flight and I'm going somewhere one way, no return, coming back to my home," is just that journey and that hustle. Because I did the same thing. I went to school in South Florida too. I was in Tampa, but that's to make it an entertainment and a lot of things like that is it's a journey and it's a risk. And I want to know for you, like, what's the one thing that you learned about yourself doing all of this?
I learned how strong I am because it wasn't like I came over here with, a lot of money in my pocket. I quite the opposite, right? Like I wasn't as financially prepared as I should have been. I had like $2,500 in my pocket hopping off the plane.
That's the deposit for the apartment right there.
That's a deposit for the apartment. And as like you go to buy all this stuff for the apartment. You go to buy, brooms and mops and then like all the cleaning supplies. And before you know it, you spent like $700. You didn't even get to buy real groceries yet. So it was definitely a journey. There were actually days, very few and far in between, but there were days that I went without eating a meal. And I think that those days built the thickest skin on me and showed me, hey, you know what I mean? Tough times build tough people, and tough people could get through whatever.
No, 100%. Look, I like the motivation that we're talking about to start this. I love this. And I do want to ask you when it comes to Impact Wrestling specifically, we've been fortunate enough the last time you guys were in town a couple months ago, I talked to Gail Kim, and I asked her who the breakout star of Impact would be, basically like the MVP of 2023. And she said to watch out for Giselle Shaw. Of course, you're her content creator, you're her stylist, a confidant. Like for me, as someone who is going to Impact for the first time this weekend at Sam Sounds Live, like, could you tell me more about Giselle?
Giselle is a top tier talent in every sense of the word. She is extremely hardworking, extremely dedicated to her craft. And I agree with Gail. She's one to watch out for in 2023. Like, I truly believe this is her year, and this is going to be the year that she wins the Knockouts World Championship.
And I know that this weekend she was somewhere in California watching some wrestling where a certain person named Mercedes Monet won a championship. She was in the audience. Afterwards, Mercedes said, I would love to face Mickie in Impact Wrestling. So I'll ask you, as a part of Impact, and of course, down the line here in a couple months with the New Japan Pro Wrestling event here in March, would you want to see Mickie face Mercedes and possibly Giselle here in the future?
Of course, Mickie versus Mercedes is a dream match for me. Putting aside just me being a fan, right? The fanboy in me, I would love to see that match. I am a fan of both Mickie James and Mercedes Monet. So yeah, 1,000%. And I do think Mercedes versus Giselle would be tremendous. Like that is a barn burner any place that you have it.
No, I agree as well. Let's throw these hands in
Manifesting.
the
We're
air. Yeah,
manifesting
let's
it.
manifest it. I should probably say something on the radio so people can know that I'm doing these fingers. Um, but another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, because representation for me is very, very important, no matter what industry, whatever the case may be. And for you, you're kind of in two boxes in terms of you're a minority because you are a Latino, you're a minority because you're the first openly gay wrestler signed to Impact Wrestling. And it's been interesting. I was lucky enough to talk to Jeremy Lin, where he was trailblazing his path in the NBA, becoming one of the first like Asian superstars in the NBA. And for him, he's like, I just wanted to play basketball professionally and make the NBA. He didn't have it in his head what it meant to be that person and everything that comes along with it. I want to ask you, for you, is that kind of the same deal where you're like, dude, I just want to wrestle, and what it's meant for you being this, this beacon of light for people to look at you and go, hey, if he can do it, I can do it.
When I was first starting this journey, it was like I just wanted to wrestle, right? But then the deeper that I got in the journey, the more I realized the impact that, no pun intended, that that I'm having being the first openly gay male wrestler signed to Impact Wrestling. I am starting to realize that it's breaking down barriers that, were once seen as unbreakable and opening doors for others down the line to where, there will be more LGBTQ people in wrestling at once. I believe that when it comes to that, you don't realize it until you're deep in it, right? Until I
Yeah, because
get
you just want to wrestle, like I was saying. Like that's not even in your mind. You're like, I just want to do this. This is what I love.
exactly, but at the same time, it's an amazing responsibility that's put on your shoulders because now because of it, it almost makes you want to be a better person. So that, the people that come after you see what you did, not just inside the ring, but outside the ring, because I feel like that's just as important, if not even more important than
In
what you
this
do.
day and age, too, I can imagine that's like an immense. That just is like kind of what I'm saying is like the pressure that was unexpected. That has to be a lot, right?
Yes. Yes, in that, I feel like the pressure that's a lot really is to be the best in there. You know what I mean? When it comes to performing. The other pressure is like welcome pressure. It's like, okay, I'm pressured to be a good person, but this is what I was anyways before then. It's just, more so now because you got this magnifying glass on you where you know that if you mess up, as messed up as it is, people will gather the whole community, and use that as oh, this is what happens if you hire a gay guy. But
They'll
in
pull
that
the
same
string,
breath,
basically. They'll take all of that.
yeah, but in that same breath, when we do amazing things as LGBTQ performers, it also helps build up uh what an LGBTQ performer is. So, it's great. It's very welcome pressure, if that makes any sense.
No, it is, and I love it, and I appreciate that you're not shying away from that because it's immense and it's huge in what you're doing. So I salute you and thank you very much for what you do. And it kind of speaks to there's been a running theme for people that are listening, like we've been fortunate enough this year and last year to talk to a lot of talent from Impact. And a phrase that gets brought up a lot from the talent is freedom. Freedom to try things out, freedom to do this, speak on this, have communication, communication with the talent, with people behind the scenes. For you being an Impact, how has that experience been, and who are some of the people that you've kind of gotten closer with and started really strong relationships with within the company?
So when it comes to freedom, I think I 1,000% agree. I remember, for example, one of the past matches for the past few weeks, it was Giselle Shaw versus Savannah Evans. And at one point I was gonna get on the rope and distract the ref. And jokingly, I was like, I'll go to a ref and I'll distract him like a 2002 diva and try to seduce him. And our producer for that match was Lance Storm. And I pulled him aside and I was like, hey, would it be cool if I did that actually? Because no what you see women doing it all the time. You never seen a male manager do that on TV, really, right? And he's like, yeah, go for it. Get your, what I mean, get your character over. And to me, it's like, whoa, the fact that they're open to you suggesting stuff as long as it makes sense, it's pretty awesome. And as far as people who have grown a lot with or grown, good connections with backstage, Tommy Dreamer for one. He's the one who, gave me the big call on the phone. And not only that, but I'll never forget my first ever Impact taping. One of the guys that was working the venue, a security guard hired by the venue, not by Impact Wrestling, but hired by the venue, was looking at me weird. And I made a comment backstage and I was like, oh, this guy's looking at me weird. Maybe he wants, as a joke or whatever. And Tommy overheard it. He's like, hey, is anybody giving you a problem? And I said, no, 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 no. Just, the guy looked at me weird, but whatever, who cares? He's like, okay, well, if anybody ever does give you a problem, you let me know and I'll handle that. And to me, that was really
It
cool.
has
Like,
to be reassuring. Like that's awesome. Honestly, you know what? I'm kind of jealous, man. Freedom to do whatever you want, and at least another thing, not only to do it, but the freedom to ask. Because in some places, like the energy's not right. We've all been in those situations where we're like, man, I can't even bring up this idea and maybe change it up, but keep that, that's awesome and you love to hear it. I need to switch gears very quickly though, away from Impact and everything that you're doing in wrestling, because I'm on your Twitter right now as we speak, and I see you're a part of a website called onlyfans.com. And so now I need your advice. And this is actually going to be the first time I hope I don't mess this up. I've never shared a screen before. So let me share the screen and I need give me 30 seconds on if you think I'd make it with an OnlyFans community. Let's say charging $6 a month. You know what I'm saying? $6 a month with content like this. Let's click this screen. Not my questions. Hold on. Espérate. Wait a second. Where's the picture? See, I told you this wasn't gonna work, Jay. I'm sorry. Where's the
No, you're doing
photo?
great. You're doing great. Let me tell you something. 12, charge
Here
12.
we
All
go.
right.
Espérate. Why can't it won't let me bring up the whole photo all the way?
I could
Espérate.
see it though. I could see it.
Hold on a second. Maybe here we go. This is the best I can give you. What do you think? What are we thinking? Look at the eyes. Give
You
me
need to charge 20. Charge 20 a month. What do you mean charge 6? Charge 20 a month. You'll be a higher earner than, Mandy Rose. What do you mean?
hey. I appreciate that self-confidence. I might take that. That is awesome.
Do it. Why not? Let me tell you something. Money talks and something about us, we listen.
There it is. And bringing it back to wrestling and you being a manager, from what I'm being told, on Sunday the 26th, the third and final day of Impact being at Sam's Town Live, that is February 26th. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. I'm being told there's going to be a match in which I am being the manager for a talent against someone else who's also a radio host whose name I won't even mention. I won't get it out of my mouth because they don't even deserve it. But I need some advice because I've been a fan all my life, man. I've been in a wrestling ring once at a convention when I was like 4 years old. So I may be out of my element. So I need some advice on how to approach this.
You know what? Honestly, all you got to do is keep in mind that you want whoever you're managing, whoever your client is, right? You want them to win. And me, I go in with that mentality that I will do whatever is necessary for Giselle Shaw to win. If I got to put myself in harm's way, I'll put myself in harm's way. Because at the end of the day, Giselle Shaw wins and we head to the pay window together. Makes sense? Money talks, right? Like I said, money talks and we speak it fluent. So we do whatever for our people to win. So just keep that in mind. And if whoever the other guy is that's going to be managing, forget him. But at the same time, if you got to do something to take him out, do something to take him out.
I might have to.
You
Because
might
look,
have to, right?
I need him to understand if he's watching this may be clipped. I don't care. This is my dream. And you think I'm going to waste my one opportunity? My man, this is not going to work out for you. You can show up if you want. I'll wish you best of luck. And with that, it feels like I'm yelling at you, Jay. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking
No,
to
no, no,
whoever
no,
this
no.
other guy is.
I'm here. I'm pointing with you. I'm pointing with you because I'm
Thank
yelling
you.
at him too. And I'll say something now on your behalf. My boy Adrian is gonna go in there and he's gonna give it his all. And let me tell you something: you don't know anything about struggle. Adrian knows about struggle. He moved across the country like I did, so we're essentially the same. And you can't
Preach.
hang with people like us.
Preach. And with that, before we
And
get you out of here,
and since you mentioned Sunday, since you mentioned the No Surrender Fallout, Jay Vidal will actually be wrestling on Sunday, believe it or not.
we may have to talk to some people backstage. I may have to help. We may have to come out to some Bad Bunny.
You may have to come in for a run-in.
Yeah, we might have to make something happen. The puertorriqueños need to stick together with Tostones, okay? Jay, before we get you out of here, let's do a quick speed round. I'm gonna ask you a question. Your first thoughts. Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready when you are.
Your favorite person to talk to in Impact?
Gail Kim.
Match that made you want to become a wrestler?
Michaels versus Taker.
Which one?
25.
Damn,
That
yo,
one.
Yes.
That one, and of course, there were matches before that. I've been watching wrestling since I was a little kid. My first really big wrestling pay-per-view being WrestleMania 20 that I saw. But the match that really, really made me want to just be in that ring was that match.
Now that match changed everything for me. That made me become a fan again for life, and here we are. Damn, 15 years ago. What the hell? Uh, I don't know if you saw this on social media, but fans were coming up to Rey Mysterio at the airport. Was that whack or not?
Very whack. Let people, go to their next flight. You know what I mean? And not only that, but he didn't have his mask on. Respect the man, respect his privacy, and don't try to, get anybody, celebrities, professional wrestlers, whoever it is, to sign these products that you're just gonna go and sell on eBay. That's super whack. Yeah, don't do that.
Who's your favorite rapper?
Nicki Minaj.
There, no, over Cardi?
Over I love Cardi. I love Cardi. And this is where we can't go, we can't like pit women rappers
True,
against each other because we don't do it with males. We don't do it with males.
true,
If
true,
I were to
true.
say Wayne, you wouldn't look at me and be like, "What about Pusha?" No, no, no,
Okay, you got good taste. I like this.
no.
This is my favorite one I get to ask. Your randomest place you've had to wrestle.
Randomest place, a place called Ave Maria, Florida, which is a utopia, is what it seems like, and not like it's the only way I could describe it is that there were it looked like a place that was just built in The Sims. And it just had like this big church smack dab in the middle. And I remember walking around it and I said one curse word, and it was like, it was like HELL, right? And like I said, what the? And then like 10 people turned around and looked at me like I was a devil. So that was one of the randomest places I
Yeah,
wrestled.
Basmado.
It was outside. It was really, really hot. But it was a good time regardless.
All right, we got two more to close this speed round out. Another damn fan incident. Fans are tripping. Your coworker at Impact Wrestling, Mike Bailey. Did you see this with the fan kicking him?
I did,
Bro,
and props to Speedball Mike Bailey because he could have kicked the fan's head off and he didn't. So, the fact that he was able to compose his anger and, not beat the fan up, which honestly he was justified to do, says a lot about Speedball as a professional. Don't touch wrestlers, we're out there trying to entertain you.
there it is. And before I close this out, No Surrender at Samstown Live, February 24th, this Friday. Fallout Night 1, Fallout Night 2, the 25th to 26th. That means Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days of Impact Wrestling. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. And we close out with the question that everyone's really saying yes to. And I think you're not going to change it up either. My son is 4 years old. His name is Sire. Hasn't been to a wrestling event yet in his life. But like I said, he's 4.5 now. Is it time to pull the trigger and let him see some pro wrestling live in the flesh?
Take him to a wrestling show and just realize that once you do it, it's a done deal. He's gonna be a fan for life. So,
So that's
be ready to buy all the replica belts, be ready to like you and I had to, you know what I mean, doing, push our parents to do when we were younger. Be ready for that to happen to you.
No, that is incredible. Jay, look, this was a great conversation. Thank you for the time. Thank you for showing love to the station. I know you're going to be in studio with my coworkers later on today. We will see you this weekend. And thank you so much for everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Adrian. I appreciate it.